Professional NBA players make mistakes. It's only human, right? Well, sometimes those mistakes cost athletes the game. And other times, their mistakes are more serious. A lot more serious. Here are 10 NBA players who wound up in jail. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe so you never miss any great content. Like the video below and share your thoughts in the comments. 10. Jack MOLINAS. This first entry on our list is something you'd expect to see in a Hollywood movie. In 1951, the NBA world was rocked by the point shaving scandal, where teams would accept bribes from the actual mafia to intentionally throw games. MOLINAS acted as a go-between for the mob and various players on other teams. After being caught, he served 5 of his 15-year sentence, but later, in 1975, died in what was believed to be a mafia-style hit. 9. MOOKIE BLAYLOCK. In a true fall from grace, BLAYLOCK used to have the distinction of being a 2-time leader in steals, and he was an all-defensive first-team member. All of his success came crashing down when he was involved in a horrific automobile accident that left him seriously injured and 1 passenger dead. BLAYLOCK also had an outstanding DUI warrant in Georgia and was driving under a suspended license. BLAYLOCK had a history of seizures, and he was sober during the crash, but he still pled guilty and served 3 years in jail and another 8 years on probation. 8. ARTEST. You might know ARTEST by his nickname, Meta World Peace. So it may be surprising to learn that ARTEST wasn't always about peace. Ironically, World Peace was involved in the Pacers-Pistons brawl back in 2004 and was ordered to serve community service and a year of probation. 3 years later, he would have another violent charge placed on him. He eventually resolved to turn things around and donned his new nickname while losing his old reputation, playing for the Lakers. 7. DELONTE West. West played for the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2009 when he was stopped for speeding on his motorcycle, which wouldn't be so bad, except he was also carrying a 9mm handgun, a .357 Magnum, and a Remington 870 shotgun. After a brief visit to jail, West was booked on 2 gun charges and lucked out with only house arrest, community service, and 2 months probation. Talk about dodging a bullet. 6. J.R. Smith. While West's conviction makes you imagine a tough biker, Smith's case of trouble on 2 wheels is more embarrassing than bad guy. Smith played for the New York Knicks as a free agent, but he was visiting Miami, probably because, at the time, the NBA championships were near and it was a showdown between the Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks. In the heat of all this excitement, Smith was pulled over for driving a scooter without a license. And while he wasn't jailed for this incident, he would later serve 90 days after getting in a wreck that cost his friend and passenger their life. 5. Billy Ray Bates. In the late 90s, Billy Ray Bates was a fan favorite, scoring highlight reel dunks when he played in Portland before he was cut from the team after 3 seasons. After a downward spiral, Bates robbed a gas station clerk with a knife to get money to fuel his addiction to cocaine. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison, got out early on parole, and then went back to jail after a drug test came back positive for cocaine. 4. VINCENT. Vincent helped Michigan State win the Division I tournament alongside Magic Johnson in 1979, which helped propel him to NBA status from 1981 to 1990. In a bizarre twist, Vincent was nabbed for running a fraudulent mail scam that raked in $2 million from unsuspecting victims. Johnson ended up vouching for Vincent, claiming the con man was truly sorry for his actions, and Vincent was released a few months early from his lengthy stay in the clink. You could say they worked up a little magic. 3. Ty Lawson. From the Denver Nuggets to the Washington Wizards, Lawson had a successful career in the NBA, although he hasn't really lived up to his given name. His track record has been on the wrong side of the law numerous times. In just 2 years, between 2013 and 2015, Lawson was arrested 4 times and has been charged with physical harassment and DUIs. Lawson also spent time in jail for not showing up to citations. While none of his records were as serious as some of the others on this list, Lawson's rap sheet is definitely longer than most. 2. Charles Barkley. It might come as a shock to see one of the sport's most iconic players on this list of notorious players serving jail time. Despite being an important figure in the sport with skill and a unique personality, Barkley wasn't perfect during his time with the NBA. Known for his addiction to gambling and alcohol abuse, Barkley actually spat at spectators and fans. While that could have landed him in some trouble, his real problems stemmed from multiple assault charges for off-court fighting. 1. JAVARIS Crittenden. Joining one of the most high-profile teams in the league, the Lakers, back in 2007, just wasn't enough for JAVARIS Crittenden. He wasn't on the team very long before he was believed to have joined the nationwide gang, the Crips. His 4-season-long career took a tumble after a locker room altercation with a member of the Washington Wizards, where JAVARIS was found with a loaded gun in the locker room. Later, in 2011, Crittenden was involved in a rival gang fight. He fired a weapon and missed, hitting and killing a 22-year-old woman. Crittenden was charged with manslaughter and is serving 23 years. If only joining the Lakers had been enough. Did anyone on this list surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. And thanks for watching.